There's a real estate storm coming, and that storm is called inflation. And you may have heard a lot of people talk about what inflation and real estate and talking about money, right? But no one's actually explained how inflation is going to impact you. And here's the great thing. If you own real estate, inflation's a great thing. Inflation makes my properties worth a lot more. But let me explain to you how inflation works and why that storm of inflation is going to make me a richer person in the future. All right, so we got inflation, all right, and how does it impact the real estate market? Let's look at a property right here, okay? So we got our house. Now, a year ago, or even in January, February of 2020, okay, let's think, let's say this building, it would cost to build $100,000 to build this property, okay? And the reason behind that is materials, all right? So back then, and back then being January of this year, all right, a 2x4, it cost $1.60, roughly, okay? So the cost to build a property was actually pretty cheap, or relatively cheap. So you could build this house for $100,000. Now this same exact property, okay, due to inflation, all right, today being November 9th, 10th, whatever it is, all right, this same property that was $100,000, okay, now is actually going to cost like $150,000 to build, the cost to build. So you might be thinking, DJ, that's insane. All right, it's only been 6, 7, 8 months. How can a property that cost $100,000 to build just a few months ago now be $150,000? And that goes back to inflation. All right, now this same exact house that cost over here, now a 2x4, it's costing $8 for one 2x4. All right, so now it's costing 4 times the cost for one 2x4. So naturally, the cost to build is already going to go up. That doesn't include all the other materials that are a lot more expensive because there's a shortage. All right, so now what does this do? Okay, so now we have 2 properties. One cost $100,000 to build. Now it costs $150,000 to build. So naturally, what's going to happen? The price to actually sell that goes up. So how does that impact me, the real estate owner? Because we're looking at this neighborhood, right? Guess who owns the house right next to it? Little old DJ here. He owns an apartment complex right next to all these other people building properties. Naturally, the price is going up in the neighborhood. And you know what's happening? Inflation is making my building be worth more because the replacement cost to build my apartment building has gone through the roof. It's gone up double, maybe, because of 2x4s. So that's how the storm of inflation is going to make me richer in the future. So if you've been thinking about getting real estate, inflation's a great thing for people that own property. It's a bad thing for people that want to get into real estate because it's going to cost a lot more to get your first piece of property because it costs a lot more to build property. All right. So that's how inflation works. And that's how inflation is going so high, so fast right now. So the time to get into real estate is now and you want to ride this inflation wave because naturally it's that forced appreciation, that appreciation because of this that's going to make our properties worth a lot more, be able to sell these properties down the road for a lot more. And while we sit and wait, we get cash flow, we get appreciation, we get depreciation, and all the other benefits that go with real estate.